Buying a used car isn't always a money-saving move. Sometimes it drains your wallet faster than you expect. Used car prices are skyrocketing. The average used vehicle now sells for over $25,000, but reliability hasn't improved to match. On online forums, one frustrated buyer complained about inflated prices. A used car like a Corolla Cross is being listed at $30,000 to $32,000, the same as, or even more than, a brand new one. And just a few weeks later, problems start showing up. This is no longer about taking a chance on a used car. This is the result of a market where worn-out machines are cleaned up and dressed to look like something they're not, a ticking time bomb. Everything looks perfect until you sign the papers. And at that moment, you didn't just buy a car. You bought every repair bill the previous owner left behind. In this video, we're going to expose the tricks sellers use to fool you and the 5 vehicles you should stay away from. 1. Subaru WRX. This is one of the most controversial names on the list because the WRX has a very loyal fan base. But the problem starts with the boxer engine design itself. The turbocharged EJ series and FA series engines use a flat, horizontally opposed layout. In mechanical terms, gravity never changes. When the engine shuts off, oil does not fully drain back to the oil pan like it does in inline or V engines. Instead, it settles along the lower sides of the cylinders. This leads to carbon buildup and can damage the head gasket due to uneven heat expansion. Subaru has faced class action lawsuits in the United States over excessive oil consumption and connecting rod bearing failures. A U.S. court ruling forced the company to extend warranties on models from 2012 to 2017. But with a used car that has passed through multiple owners, an engine replacement costing $6,000 to $8,000 falls entirely on the new buyer. On top of that, the boxer engine is extremely difficult to service because of its horizontal layout. Simple jobs like replacing spark plugs or fixing head gaskets often require pulling the entire engine out. That alone can push labor costs to 3 times higher than a standard inline engine. And with the WRX equipped with a CVT, the situation gets even worse. Unlike the durable Japanese cars of the 1990s, Subaru paired a continuously variable transmission with a high-output turbocharged engine. A turbocharged car should never be forced to rely on a belt-driven transmission if the driver pushes it like a rally car. A CVT depends on stable friction between a steel belt and pulleys. When heat builds up, the transmission fluid breaks down, clamping force changes, and the belt begins to slip. And once a CVT starts slipping, it doesn't just feel a little weak, it is grinding itself into metal dust. Or it fails completely at around 100,000 kilometers. Replacing that transmission at a dealership can cost between $7,000 and $8,000, enough to turn what looked like a good deal into a serious financial burden. 2. Ford Focus and Fiesta, 2011 to 2019. A sentence delivered by the PowerShift transmission used Ford vehicles are often listed at surprisingly high prices, leaving many buyers feeling they're simply not worth it. And it's not just about the price. This is a systemic engineering failure, built into the design itself. The root of the problem lies in the dry clutch construction. Ford chose this system to eliminate the oil pump and fluid cooling system, reducing weight and cutting production costs. But in real-world driving conditions in the United States, especially stop-and-go traffic, that decision turns into a disaster. For the car to move smoothly, the control system must engage the clutch plates against the flywheel. In a wet clutch transmission, hydraulic fluid acts as a cooling medium, absorbing and carrying heat away. But in a dry clutch system, the clutch plates are exposed to open air. With constant friction, surface temperatures can exceed 250 degrees Celsius. This extreme heat has nowhere to go, leading to thermal warpage of the friction discs. Once the clutch plates are no longer perfectly flat, the contact surfaces become uneven, causing severe shaking, what mechanics call shuddering. This is not a minor annoyance. It is the mechanical feedback of a system destroying itself. Worse still, high temperatures can damage the rear main seal, allowing engine oil to leak into the clutch housing, completely eliminating the system's ability to transfer power. In the United States, a 533-page class action lawsuit accused Ford of knowing about this defect and continuing to sell the vehicles. Ford was forced to pay over $47.4 million to buy back defective cars from customers. In Australia, the company was fined $10 million for concealing the issue. Even if a seller claims the car has had a software update, remember this. This is a fundamental mechanical flaw. No software can fix a clutch system that has already been warped by heat. 3. Hyundai and Kia models, fire risk and manufacturing defects. Over the past decade, the Hyundai-Kia group has grown rapidly, but beneath the polished exterior, some engines carry a critical flaw. The root cause lies in the manufacturing process. During production of the Theta II engines, metal debris created while drilling oil passages was not properly cleaned out. As the engine runs, these metal particles circulate with the oil into the extremely tight clearances of the connecting rod bearings. It's like pouring sand into a bearing. Friction increases sharply, wearing down the protective coating and leading to sudden engine seizure, even while driving at highway speed. Worse still, when the bearing locks up, the connecting rod can break loose, punching through the engine block. At that point, hot oil can spill onto high-temperature components, causing the vehicle to catch fire while in motion. A class action settlement over engine failures and fires was approved at approximately $1.3 billion, covering millions of vehicle owners. The danger with used Hyundai and Kia vehicles is how easily buyers are misled by appearance. The interior still looks clean, the screen still works, the seats still look new, and the price is often a few $1,000s cheaper than a Toyota. But don't be fooled. These vehicles can deteriorate far faster than their appearance suggests. For Nissan models with JATCO CVT, a betrayal of trust. Nissan was once a symbol of reliability, a direct competitor to Toyota, but that reputation began to collapse when they equipped most of their lineup, from Altima and Sentra to Rogue, with JATCO CVT transmissions. The core issue lies in an underpowered transmission cooling system. When the transmission fluid overheats, it loses viscosity, causing the metal belt to slip on the pulleys. When inspecting a used car, pay close attention to a whining or humming noise that increases with speed. That sound is often a warning sign that the internal bearings are already worn out. What makes CVTs especially dangerous is how little warning they give. One day the car drives fine. The next day it can stall in the middle of the road. And when the mechanic says, "You need a full transmission replacement," that's when you understand the real cost behind the words fuel efficiency. Once it fails, the only solution is a full replacement, costing between $4,000 and $5,000. For a used car worth around $20,000, that is an unacceptable expense. 5. GM vehicles with 8-speed transmissions, 8L45 and 8L90. The final name on this list is found in many modern American trucks and SUVs, GM's 8-speed transmission. Specifically, the 8L45 and 8L90 units used in Chevrolet, GMC, and Cadillac models from 2015 to 2019. Thousands of owners have reported severe shaking at steady speeds or sudden surging during gear shifts. According to Reuters, in 2024, GM faced a class action lawsuit involving more than 800,000 vehicles equipped with these 8-speed transmissions. The complaint alleges persistent shuddering, jerking, delayed shifts, and sudden surges, even after repairs were performed. The issue is partly linked to the original transmission fluid, which has a high tendency to absorb moisture. As moisture enters the system, it changes the friction characteristics of the torque converter, leading to continuous slipping. GM introduced a fix by switching to Mobil 1 synthetic LVA-TFHP fluid. But if the torque converter is already worn, metal debris has circulated through the system, and the valve body is contaminated, then this is no longer maintenance. This is a rebuild or a full replacement. For vehicles that have already run tens of thousands of miles on the original fluid, internal components are often excessively worn. The average repair cost is around $4,700. This is a major risk, especially when towing heavy loads or merging onto a highway, where transmission stability is critical. In the volatile used car market, the goals of the buyer and the seller are always in conflict. Buyers are looking for durability and a fair price. Sellers are chasing the highest possible profit. That's why they won't hesitate to make a worn-out vehicle look clean and appealing on the surface. Here are the most common tricks every buyer needs to recognize before making a decision. Using stop leak additives to hide cooling system failures. One of the most expensive problems in used cars is a blown head gasket or a cracked radiator. To avoid repair costs that can run into thousands of dollars, some sellers pour liquid additives directly into the cooling system. These products contain fine particles that harden when exposed to high temperatures at the leak point, temporarily sealing the crack. But this is a long-term disaster. These substances don't just seal leaks, they also clog small passages in the heater core and radiator. After about 2 to 3 weeks of driving, as system pressure builds, the cracks will reopen, and the engine can suddenly overheat, leading to a warped cylinder head. Clearing engine fault codes. Right before the sale, with cheap OBD 2-scan tools widely available, clearing warning lights has become extremely easy. A seller can erase all fault codes related to emission systems, oxygen sensors, or even transmission issues just before the buyer arrives. To protect yourself, don't rely only on the dashboard. Use a proper diagnostic scanner to check the status of the emissions monitors. If the monitors show a not ready status, it means the codes were recently cleared and the vehicle has not completed a full drive cycle for the system to run its self-checks again. A healthy, problem-free vehicle should have all monitors showing ready. Changing oil viscosity to hide mechanical knocking. A ticking hydraulic lifter or a knocking crankshaft bearing is a clear sign that the engine is severely worn and close to failure. To hide this, sellers often use an old but effective trick, switching to a thicker oil than what the manufacturer recommends. For example, if the engine calls for 5W30, the seller may use 20W50 or add oil thickening additives. Thicker oil creates a heavier film between metal parts, which can reduce noise and artificially increase oil pressure readings on the gauge. But this comes at a cost. Oil that is too thick cannot properly flow into tight clearances during a cold start, leading to accelerated engine wear, often much faster than normal. Cleaning the engine bay to hide leaks. A spotless, shiny engine bay on a 10-year-old car should raise suspicion. Sellers often use strong chemicals to wash away oil leaks from valve cover gaskets, rear main seals, or the power steering system. The correct way to inspect is to look underneath the vehicle and behind the engine block, areas that are harder to clean. Long-term oil leaks leave behind dark stains and dirt buildup that regular washing cannot fully remove. If the engine bay looks too clean, but the underside shows signs of moisture or residue, that is a clear warning sign. Recognizing these deceptive tactics is a necessary first step. But to truly protect yourself when making a purchase worth tens of thousands of dollars, you need a practical inspection checklist and access to reliable data sources before making your decision. Prioritize core value over a cheap price. The biggest mistake buyers make is chasing brands with low resale value because they believe they found a bargain. In the automotive world, resale value is one of the clearest indicators of build quality. Invest in vehicles with a proven track record of durability over decades. Paying slightly more upfront for a car that holds its value can save you thousands of dollars in repairs and replacement parts down the road. Use reliable data sources. Never fully trust the seller's claims or even a maintenance record that can be forged. Instead, rely on real data. Start by checking the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, website for any open or unresolved recalls. If a vehicle has a history of engine defects or safety-related issues, it may show up in recall records. This step is completely free, yet many buyers skip it, focusing only on paint condition, mileage, or the infotainment screen. Next, search the vehicle model name along with terms like class action lawsuit, transmission failure, engine failure, or oil consumption. A vehicle involved in class action lawsuits rarely has just a minor issue. It usually points to a widespread, repeat failure. If thousands of owners report transmission slipping, oil burning, or engines stalling on the road, that is a warning sign you should take very seriously. Choose simple engine configurations. From a mechanical standpoint, the fewer complex components an engine has, the lower the chance of failure. For everyday driving needs, prioritize naturally aspirated four-cylinder engines over turbocharged V6 or V8 setups. Turbocharged engines operate under extreme heat and pressure, which accelerates the aging of rubber seals and oil lines. A simpler engine is not only more durable, but also significantly cheaper to maintain. Test drive and independent inspection process. Never buy a car without driving it under real-world conditions. You should insist on testing the vehicle in heavy traffic, where the transmission must constantly shift between first, second, and third gears. This is where problems with the torque converter or CVT belt slipping become most noticeable. Many buyers have encountered transmission issues where the car can still move forward, but shakes violently or loses pressure when shifting into reverse. That's why you should never inspect a car alone if you lack technical experience. An experienced mechanic can spot issues that the untrained eye will miss, such as rust underneath the chassis, oil leaks from suspension components, or coolant contamination in the engine oil. Final advice: don't chase cheap prices. A car that is a few $1,000s below market value always has a reason. It may be about to need a transmission replacement, it may have an engine that is burning oil, or the previous owner already knew the problem and chose not to fix it. Instead, focus on vehicles with simple engines, durable transmissions, clear maintenance records, and widely available parts. For daily driving, a naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine is often a much safer choice than turbocharged setups, CVTs, or overly complex systems. And if the seller refuses an independent inspection, avoids maintenance history questions, or pressures you to decide immediately, walk away. As long as your money is still in your pocket, you still have options. But once you sign the papers, all mechanical risks become your responsibility. By following these disciplined inspection steps, you can confidently eliminate financial risks and find a vehicle that truly meets your needs. Stay practical, stay informed. Subscribe to the channel to learn more about the tactics used in the industry and protect your wallet from modern automotive traps.